Hello, happiness seekers. I'm a work psychologist, Klaudia, and I'm on this journey to test drive and explore the best happiness hacks from the leading experts around the globe and share what I've learned. And in this episode, I really want to encourage you to stop and self reflect and think about the past year. So, with the excitement of the new year, it's quite easy to rush back into our life. But what about actually spending time self reflecting, learning, and appreciating the past year? If you are a goal setting lover and someone who has New Year resolutions, this exercise can be helpful for you because it can really allow you to self reflect on what has been going well last year, what didn't go so well, and why, and what kind of preferences and desires you had. Has those changed? And therefore, can really help you to set goals that are relevant and inspiring for you. If you are not into goal setting and new resolutions, then this short exercise of self reflection can provide you with some insights about yourself, which hopefully can help you in any future decisions that you'll be making. So, what's going to happen in this episode is I'm going to introduce you to 5 aspects of the past year to reflect on so that you can gain some insights about your happiness. I want you to grab a piece of paper, make yourself a big cup of tea, and let's self reflect. So, number 1, celebrating success. Another year has passed, but have you actually stopped and thought about your contributions and appreciated yourself? And I know that when we think about success, it really feels like it has to be something epic and grand. But actually, we know from research that the small changes add up to a bigger impact in life. So I would like you to answer the 3 following questions. What have you achieved that you are really proud of? I mean, really, that sense of, yay, I've done it. I am so proud that I've faced this, solved this, challenged this. Really think about that sense of being proud of yourself. What are the 3 strengths of yours that contributed to that success and happiness? And what small daily practices helped you to be happy? For example, one of my friends shared with me that actually the biggest achievement and something that they're really proud of that happened last year was that by having this routine of having a morning coffee with their mom once a week, they were able to repair the relationship with their mom. And I think that's something that we may just overlook. Maybe we take it for granted, but actually, it was something that made my friend really proud that they spend the time, that they really put that effort, and that they were able to improve a relationship with someone who was important to them. Number 2, when you reflect on the past year, try to really pinpoint of what matters to you. So we often hear about this concept of values. So values are defined as a driving force and motivation that influences your behaviors and choices that you make on daily basis. But actually, I find that many times values are not very obvious to us. It's really hard to pinpoint of, okay, why am I choosing this over something else? So I have 2 interesting questions for you to ponder upon. What was the most important thing that you spent majority of the time doing that made you happy last year? And what have you actually prioritized last year? And maybe what have you neglected or paid less attention to? So for me personally, it was quite an interesting revelation that last year I traveled quite a lot. And yes, I loved it because I was able to take a break more often. I was able to rest. I was able to learn something new and be outside of my comfort zone. But I actually also realized that as a result, I exercise less often. Like my exercise wasn't that good last year because I missed my routine because I wasn't home. So this was really interesting. It's thinking that actually my travel took priority over my exercise and health. So this year I'm trying to think, okay, how I can balance that. Number three, often when we think about last year and our achievements, we forget to appreciate key relationships and connections that we developed. So let's be honest, everything that we do in life, it is to some extent a collective effort and a collaboration and a partnership. And we know from researchers at Stanford University that the majority of new opportunities, ideas, and information that we receive in life actually come from people that are new, that are outside of our social network, that are outside of our friends and family. And that's because our immediate circle of friends and family tend to be similar to us and tend to be exposed to the same information as us, while strangers provide us with that diversity of thought and opportunities. So I want you to think about and really celebrate people outside of your immediate social network that contributed to your happiness last year. Think about who has offered you maybe the best support or advice last year. What was the kindest thing that anyone has done for you last year, and who the person was? And it was a bit of like a random act of kindness that you haven't expected. And if I think about that myself, I'm very grateful for all the experts and guests that came to this podcast and shared their knowledge. That was a random act of kindness for them to give their time and give their expertise and share that. But also think about maybe you've received the mentoring, or maybe your neighbors provided you a helping hand with something, or someone has answered your specific question or query, or help you sorted out something that you were really not sure how to solve. So really think about those people that they are in our life, they are outside of our friends and family network, how they helped with your happiness, how they contributed to your happiness. The fourth aspect of really self reflecting on the past year is thinking and really listing things that you have learned and discovered. And this is really important because if we understand and we really appreciate that we are progressing, we are learning, then we are not limited and gripped by what is often referred to as tyranny of now. Because if we are learning and progressing, that ultimately means that the future is limitless because it's based on the power of yet. So we know that we haven't done something yet, but that's okay. We can do it. We haven't learned something yet, but that's okay. We can take time to practice it. So let's appreciate for a moment everything that you have learned by thinking, what did you learn about yourself that you can apply into your future plans? What's the most surprising or inspiring thing that you have learned last year? So, definitely, when I think about that, I actually think about my resilience. My dad was quite sick at some point last year, and I actually learned about myself that I was able to stay positive throughout quite difficult time, and that quite surprised me because I'm also quite anxious person and I worry and I catastrophize quite easily. So actually staying positive during really challenging times was one of the things that I feel proud of, that, and something that I can definitely try to apply into any future plans that I'm thinking of. Finally, let's look into happiness itself. So let's think and reflect on the past year in relation to what contributed to your happiness. And I don't think necessary here thinking about any big external factors, but really thinking about how satisfied were you with your happiness last year? What made you particularly happy? If you could live the last year again, what would you change to increase your happiness? I tend to rush everywhere, and I definitely think that I would love to go back in time and simply slow down certain aspects and events of my life, because I realized that some of the most happy moments that I had in the past years were when I was more grounded and I was actually slowing down and I was actually paying attention and savoring those ordinary moments. So I definitely will be thinking of more of that in the upcoming year. I hope you have found this self reflective exercise useful. It was just really an opportunity for you to spend a few minutes self reflecting, appreciating the past year. If you now thinking about setting up some goals and you're thinking, okay, how can I do that effectively? Go to www.unhappiness.co.uk/book to download a sample chapter of my upcoming book, The Alphabet of Happiness. This particular chapter is on dreams and goal setting and really summarizes the science of how we can set milestones to contribute to our happiness. So, specifically, they are practical and research based tips on combining your dreams with passion, learning, and most importantly, self care so you don't burn out, on how to concentrate on daily small progress so you can really enjoy the present moment rather than maybe living in the future, and how to set positive intentions to remain optimistic, especially when what you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to do is quite challenging. So go ahead, download that sample chapter. And of course, if you have any feedback, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. In meantime, as always, I dare you to be happy, and I hope that I will see you at the next episode. Bye.